Hi, welcome everybody to the Alchemy of Light. I'm the Joyful Mystic Kate, and today we have Medium Kim Copeland joining us for the interview. So excited that you guys are with me. So excited that everybody's here and everybody in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of people that I recognize, and I'm so glad that you guys are here. It always helps me to relax, knowing that you're here. I think that's because I can feel you. I can feel your energy. I can feel your warmth and your lightness, and it's always just such a beautiful thing to experience. And so I want to welcome anyone that's new. Welcome my new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. And let me just briefly give you an introduction into what is the alchemy of light. What is that all about? The alchemy of light is what happens when our energy comes together. It's the harmony that happens when our light is overlapping, when it's sharing, when it becomes one. And that kind of energy, that kind of excitement and fun, and you know you're in a good place, and you know that this is a really good thing because your heart is lifted, because your creativity is expanded, and because you have that sense of peace within you. And so I wanted to, and I know this is kind of an out there concept, but I wanted to take that coming together energy and blessing it with our hearts and then sending it out into the universe so that we make a difference in changing and healing, in rejuvenating what's happening on the planet. Because there's so much change happening that we can feel lost in all of it. We can feel like we don't make a difference. We can feel like, well, I'm just not important enough. But I am here to tell you that you totally matter, that it is so important for you to share your light, for you to share that beautiful heart and allow the light that comes from that heart out into the galaxies. Let that come out. And what happens then is it joins all the other collective light and creates this incredible power. I honestly believe the only thing that can solve all of this is love. Love is the only answer. Love is always the answer. And it's what is required at this point for us to move through this with ease and grace and peace. So I welcome you to the Alchemy of Light. I'm so excited. I get so nervous. It's so weird because I used to be on the air. I used to be a disc jockey. So you would think that sitting behind the microphone, I would not be nervous, but I do get nervous. So thank you again for being here. And thank you, Kim, for saying yes, because you have an incredible radiance. And I know that sometimes that's hard to hear, that, when other people notice, the glow, or they notice the radiance that's coming out, or, and the amount of generous opportunity that you allow for others, the amount of healing that you do, the amount of time that you spend in giving to others is an incredible example. And I completely honor everything that you are doing because you are leading the way in what I think of as the most positive, uplifting way that there is. And so when you said, yeah, you would like to do this, I was like, woohoo! I think I was like dancing around the living room for a few days.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's totally, totally beautiful that you're here and that you're sharing this and that we can honor you by saying thank you.
Oh, that's so sweet of you.
Yeah.
So sweet of you, Kate. Well, and thank you for having me. Oh my gosh. I feel so honored. I feel honored to be here. And you are present so well. I don't know why you'd be nervous. This is amazing. You're natural for this. And your words and all, and everything about you is very professional. And so I totally agree with you that love is it.
That's it.
When you sit in that love, then that can change the world. I do think so.
I believe that. Yes.
But how do we get there? How
Exactly.
That's the thing, because it's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those things where you can create patterns within your life You can create things that remind you, that keep you, as a human being, we need to have that pattern. We need to have a beginning and end. We need to know that we can get from one to the other. So setting up an invitation to invite joy in, setting up patterns that say, this is what I do and the reason that I do it,
Uh-huh.
because life is so much better when I do. And
Right.
when I miss a day or when things go a little wonky, I notice it. So that's why I
Yeah.
wanted to have everybody on, especially the ones who have such radiance, to find out what it is that you do that you can share with us, the practical habits, the practical way of being that allow that joy to come in. It's not like we can sit on the couch and wait for the knock on the door.
Right.
It doesn't work on that. It doesn't work like
Yeah.
that. I want to be a marathon runner and I'm going to wait for it to walk on the door. It's
Yeah.
all good, right? Yeah.
I do think his intention is, you're right. Setting that intention and making the choice is important. And everybody's going to have their own joy factor, their own thing that makes them happy, feel alive. But I think it's when you find that thing that makes you feel alive, then that's what you keep going back to. And
Yes.
so for me, I have uh, it's changed over the years, of course.
Yes.
Um, when I was in grade school, it was art. That was my joy. And or any kind of work with my hands, crafting, sewing, painting, anything like that. So, but then it moved into exercise. So like 16, became quite an avid runner. And so
Oh,
that was a thing. Like, you get to that runner's high. And now looking back, that was my meditation.
yes.
You know,
Yes.
and I actually haven't stopped
Hmm.
since 16. I mean, I've been a devoted person in you know how they say health nut. I've sort of been that way off and on. I mean, they would have called me that maybe when I was in my 20s. I don't know if they would call me that now.
Hmm.
But so that's always been important to me. And like the first thing in the morning, I feel it's when you have the time of the day, like to set the day, the morning. Like right now, I feel kind of draggy. Like 7 o'clock, I don't even know if I'm making any sense.
I'm so
Like
sorry.
I've turned in. No, it's okay. I've turned into a pumpkin a little. It's like there's certain times of the day. I know my best time is in the morning, and so I take advantage of that. But nowadays, meditation is really, really important to me,
Hmm.
of course, and I pretty much it's a daily thing. I might miss a day or two here and there, but in general, I have that practice. Now, I started the practice of meditation back in around 95.
Hmm.
And again, once I start on something, I continue. I haven't stopped. And
Tenacious.
I'm a crab. I'm a Cancer of the crab. I guess that's it.
Mhm.
Um, but I've changed what I've done in my meditation. I used to have the contemplative prayer, 20 minutes morning, 20 minutes in the evening, having a mantra, coming back to the centering of the mantra. Or I've used the shamanic work as
Mhm.
the meditation practice with the drumming. So I've done that. And now I do a little bit more what's called, sitting in the power or guided processes that way. And what I do now, just to let everybody know, I will have like a 20 minutes of sitting in the power. And when I say sitting in the power, that all we mean is sitting with spirit, the power of spirit. That's it.
Mhm.
The power
Mhm.
of your own soul. Bringing that whole, how do you get the power of your soul in is through the heart to me,
Mhm.
through that love. And some people might say, well, I don't know. I don't even know what love is. So they're going to maybe pick another word. Maybe their word is peace, or maybe their word is joy, or something like that.
Right.
So if they can find that word that they can bring into the heart, then that opens up. I feel like it's doorways, the doorway, and you can go really within in that meditation, or you can go up. And everybody's going to have the way they do it different. But my process now is I have like a 20-minute of doing that. Then I do 20 minutes of like sitting with spirit and noticing. Okay, so now I've got my power up. Then I'm going to move into now. I'm going to be just noticing and communing with the spirit world.
Mhm.
So that's kind of my process now. And sometimes I go a little longer, sometimes shorter, but that's kind of what I do as far as my meditation. But I have to say, I have another thing I do.
We're taking notes.
I have a long routine.
Yes.
Okay. And I don't know, and it depends on the weather outside when I do what too. It changes for the seasons because, like, if it's really hot outside, I have to go outside first,
Mm-hmm.
my walk or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
My
First thing.
walk, my yeah. So depends on that. But I also do Eden energy medicine, and I say Eden. I mean, I kind of made it my own as well. So over the years, I've studied energy medicine, and there are things you can do. I mean, I believe everything is energy. Okay, joy is energy.
Yeah.
Depression is energy. Love is energy. There's an energy to it,
Yeah.
and our body, of course, is energy. Now you can move. You can place your body around other people, and you're going to feel their energy, and you maybe could pick up the joy. You know, that's one way you can change your body's energy. You can also put your body in a place on earth that, like near the beach, or maybe Mount Shasta or Sedona, or these places that have higher energy to raise your energy. You know, that's another thing you could do. I like to do, it's more kind of like a Qigong thing, and a way tapping. It's, you know, it doesn't take me very long, about 5-7 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And that I do before I meditate even. It's like I've got to get my wiggles out. Maybe I'm just a very physical person. I got to get my wiggles out first before I can be still.
I love that. Wiggles. Got to get the wiggles out. That is so good. It's so good. Especially since, energy can be a little, wobbly, little, can have a need for a release, can
Yeah.
have that need for that flow to come back in and feel like it's all smooth again, right? So
Right.
you pretty much answered 2 out of my 3 questions. And I know you must be psychic.
Sometimes better than others. Okay.
Sometimes better than others. So physically, you have a routine that you do every day,
Mhm.
rain or shine, where first thing in the morning, getting out and doing the running, the jogging, the
Well, I
exercise.
don't jog now. Now I walk.
Good walk.
I
Okay.
mean, I'm 65. You know. I mean, I would love to jog, but I'd walk.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of science that says walking is the way to go. So
Yeah.
it's absolutely,
I
it's
yeah.
absolutely good.
I do that, and because I have dogs also that I have to walk, so I walk them, then I walk me. You know, there's a routine around that,
Right.
and sometimes the dogs are joyful, bring me joy, and sometimes the dogs are frustrating.
Mhm.
So I can't depend on the dogs to bring me the joy. I mean, it's joyful just being with them around the house, but walking sometimes isn't.
Right, exactly. I just wanted to point out 2 little things about getting up and doing your thing in the morning, first
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
because when you take yourself as the priority, when
Mhm.
anyone does, when the very first thing that you do is for you,
Yeah.
that is self-love.
Uh-huh.
You have to be good to yourself first. So that first morning wake up thing, that first getting in the sunlight, they say that 5 minutes of sunlight in the morning resets your sleep pattern, puts it more naturally into state again. So in the event that you're having trouble sleeping, you might want to try when you get up in the morning. It sounds strange that the way to solve the sleep is the morning, right? But if you get up in the morning and you just sit for 5 minutes in the sunlight or in the open air. It doesn't even have to be sunlight because there are some places that are pretty foggy and cloudy and it doesn't really matter. The body understands the sunlight coming through. But
Mhm.
that first thing in the morning of saying, I'm important, I'm going to take care of me, and how I take care of me right off the bat
Mhm.
is awesome. It's an
Mhm.
awesome routine. Do you even have that routine when you travel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Except for the walking, it depends on, where I am and stuff. But I
Mhm.
do the meditation and the energy medicine routine.
Yeah.
Yes, when I
Yeah.
travel, I actually do it better when I'm traveling because I may not have the dogs, or I may not have the distractions in the house or the laundry or whatever that might be calling to me. But so
Yes.
I feel like I do it better.
Yes.
I meditate better when I travel. I do yoga in the hotel room for sure. And the routine, I do, I mean, the tapping and yes.
Yes, absolutely. So
Mhm.
you mentioned that you study.
Uh-huh.
And that you have you always been a studier, a
Yeah.
curiosity? I need to know, what about this? What about that? Because the body, mind, spirit, all three in alignment, are
Uh-huh.
what create the pattern.
Yeah.
So the pattern of having, the morning walk, and then the meditation as well, the spiritual side. So is the studying, the seeking out of new information, the taking classes, signing up for, books clubs or groups, or has that always been a part of your routine as well?
I would say since about 95.
Hmm.
Although, I mean, I studied even as a little girl, so, different things.
Hmm.
Because I don't know if you know, but my mom was an astrologer,
Oh,
so it's always been a spiritual study for me. Now, though, when I was in college, um, I studied other things. Well,
yeah, yeah. Of course, you have to in college. It's fun. Those college folks, they want that well-rounded thing to happen, right? That everybody else, because I don't even remember what that class was, but that's okay. That's okay.
But
The well,
I spent like 8 years in college because I had one degree. Well, no, that's not. I mean, okay, then I went back and got a. So I feel yes, I guess I do have this thing. I can go to a campus. I don't care what campus. I just hold some books. That feels so good.
yes. Isn't it? Sometimes it feels like there's not enough hours in the day to get through,
Oh, I know, I know.
right? To
But
get
now,
through.
for now, I am very much interested in mediumship, star beings. I mean, so anything that I'm teaching is what
Mhm,
I'm interested in.
mhm, mhm. You have a huge buffet of things that you're teaching too. I mean, that's amazing. In fact, you were mentioning the dogs sometimes not being in sync, and I'm wondering if it's because they are picking up on the day's energy. I'm
Oh,
wondering if they understand that there's something in the air, and
mhm.
that there's some movement, that there's something that's uncomfortable or not like yesterday. So
Yeah,
something's
for sure.
different.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, there's that. There is that factor, absolutely. But also, I just don't think I've trained him that great.
Well, yeah, you're lucky it's not a cat, because there's a funny little routine that's called Pavlov's. Pavlov, ring the
Yeah,
bell, right?
yeah.
Pavlov's first results were with a cat. Okay,
Oh,
so on day one, rang bell, cat took a nap.
well.
On day two, rang bell, cat went out. On day three, rang bell, could not find cat. On day four, rang bell, but cat put paw on bell and bell went clunk. Okay. Day five, cat rang bell and I ate. So yes, kitties have a mind of their own, right? They're not going to be told any of that stuff, and I just love how different the species are. They all have their gifts, that they all have their differences, and it's just like people. We all have our specialties, and things that we're drawn to, and that compass inside the heart that says, follow this, because you keep smiling when you're reading about this. Keep going that direction,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
following your heart. So let me ask you this, Kim. On the days that maybe the routine gets a little off,
Uh-huh.
do people around you notice the difference?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I notice it. Yeah,
Okay.
it used to be when I was really, into that running phase, which was lasted a long time. Like,
Hmm.
I can't remember, like 48 years, quite a long time.
Yeah.
And um, and if I did, if for some reason, if I missed my running, oh yeah, I was grouchy, for sure, because it does. It changes the endorphins. It changes, the hormones. It changes everything, and the way, just your overall the way you feel. Yes, but
Hmm.
even now, today when I do my energy routine. And I'll do it at the park sometimes, or sometimes I'll just do it in my room. Okay, um, that makes a huge difference for me. That to me is actually even more magical than meditation.
Mm.
It's more magical even than. And when I started doing that, my I think that's when things really started changing for me. People
Hmm.
even told me I looked different.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and because you are balancing energies that can often go, if we're talking about energy in our body, and if things are like if we get stressed, our system is going to go off.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to either become ungrounded, we're going to be homolateral, we're going to be reverse polarities. There's a lot of things that can go off.
Yes.
We're going to step outside of our aura. Our aura is going to be way over there, or maybe our aura is going to shrink, or it's going to be, just not even, we're not like, where do we go?
Yes.
So, but when you remember to just like, when you teach your body's energy to behave in a certain way. Now, I'm much better about teaching my body's energy to behave than my dogs. I
Mm-hmm.
can't teach them to behave at all, but I can. But I can teach my body's energy because it's a pattern.
Right.
The more you repeat the pattern, then the more your energy stays that way.
Right.
You know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It stabilizes it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they talk about how when I get asked questions about maintaining a spiritual process or program within my own life,
Mm-hmm.
how do I maintain the joy? How come I always seem, happy? The process allows that sense of inner peace. That there's a lot going around. There's a hurricane happening. There's a tornado. There's a husband in the ER. There's all kinds of things that can happen because we are humans. We are human in this experience, and those kinds of experiences that are difficult or that are taxing or that are exhausting seem a little easier,
Uh-huh.
seem a little lighter,
Right.
maybe than before the spiritual practice. So
Yeah.
having that spiritual practice, that inner quiet time,
Yeah.
the number one recommendation that I've heard recently for anyone who is starting out, for anyone who is exploring, is to find 5 minutes and just be quiet.
Right.
Just be quiet and listen. Just
Yes.
listen and see what comes in, or hear what comes in, or feel what comes in.
Yeah.
And that whole aspect of closing your eyes so that your focus is drawn inward,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can hear what's happening inside your heart is so important. But sometimes it's not very practical for people that are, having a bunch of those human things on their plate and
Right.
trying
Right.
to juggle them all,
Yeah.
and it does come in. What happens then is that you look forward to it. You look forward to it again and
Yeah.
again and again. And
Right.
like you said, when it doesn't happen, there's a sense of grumpy. My husband says, "Are you hangry, or are you needing a timeout, or do you need to go meditate somewhere?" because it's really noticeable
Yeah.
when things are off kilter, and it
Yes.
feels like
Yeah.
not grounded or not in a place of allowing. That can be really hard too. When I want to control the day, when I figure it out and understand it. But let me ask you this: if you if you were to give someone new advice on how to just begin,
Okay.
what kind of advice would, I mean, I know that everybody that's watching
Yeah.
is so gifted and has so much a beautiful energy that they share with us.
Yeah.
But let's pretend that there's a newbie.
Never ever thought about this. I like the idea of the 5 minutes in the quiet, but I think if it's good for you to have your eyes closed, that's fine. Or your eyes can just be halfway closed,
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
or gazing at the water, a glass of water, gazing at a fire or something, a candle flame. That's also good because I think I agree with you totally. Most people want to hear spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
so, how is spirit going to get you if you always got the TV on, or you're running around and you don't have, you're like, you got to be receptive. So yes, 5 minutes, I think that's perfect. That would be a wonderful way to start. I
Mm-hmm.
also, if sitting is not good, walking too,
Mm-hmm.
just to
Mm-hmm.
walk in the quiet without the headphones, without the, anything, just being in the nature, in the quiet. So then, I have to go to this daily energy routine. I just hate to say, at least look at it, at least try it.
Right. Yeah.
And I know back on my YouTube channel, and it's been a couple of years since I posted one, a daily energy routine,
Mm-hmm.
but you can search it, you
Okay.
know. And I mean, just a simple little thing would be tapping right here, firm, to help get the energy back up to your brain. This is that kidney 27 point.
Okay.
And just by doing this, like if you're tired or whatever, you're driving or on it, and you're like, oh, I said, I'll drive and tap and I'll change sides. I'm driving, tapping.
No, that's awesome. Combining the two is awesome. A lot of us think that you have to go somewhere or sit somewhere or be somewhere, when really it's in your daily life that you can incorporate all of it. You can bring it all in, like what you're talking about when you're driving, right?
Right.
When you're on the phone.
Yeah, I used to hold when I had a long drive to work. I would hold certain points, acupressure points, as I was driving. Now it's kind of, it's a little work. You have to know where stomach 30 is. You have to look it up. Like where would be some good points to hold, right? But
Yes.
when I would get back after, at work, and I'd go, oh my gosh, I can tell there's a shift just by holding those points.
Yeah.
Again, you have one hand on the steering wheel, one hand on a point. You're changing.
Yes.
Or even let's say if like you're getting overloaded with information.
Mm-hmm.
You can do this crown pull like this. You're just opening your crown, opening, opening, and then I like to figure eight over it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Or like the throat. People have trouble with the throat.
Mm-hmm.
So you can stretch very gentle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pulling, and then figure eighting in and out or whatever's right. And then you do little fairy kisses, little fairy kiss, fairy, fairy, fairy.
I love that. I love that.
So that's something you could do, for your throat.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. As you were doing that, I saw sparks. So
Oh.
I don't know if it's just my eyes or if it's actually there, but there, when you do the fairy kisses, there's little
Yeah.
pops of spark. It's really beautiful. Yeah. That's lovely.
The 5-minute sitting, the 5-minute any kind of a daily energy routine. When you're out of the shower, you're coming out of the shower, instead of just a regular towel off, you could decide you're going to massage your arm. You're going to massage your leg or your feet, your hands, and just give yourself a little extra love.
Mm-hmm.
As you're putting your lotion on, and you go, spend a little extra time on your hands and feet. That's actually very grounding. It also changes the polarity. Make sure your polarities are right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for our grounding. So there's little things like that you can do throughout the day, but just to be more conscious and aware. Also, to something that I think is kind of easy. Well, if you can remember, the moment you feel like you're going in a bad spot, like, oh, I'm starting to feel negative for whatever,
Right.
Okay, come to the word, a word. It could be the word peace,
Mm-hmm.
or love or joy. You just repeat it in your mind, like when you see, oh, joy, oh, joy, oh, like when I see a dead animal and I feel so bad for that animal, I say, blessings be, blessings be, blessings be. Or I just come back to a word,
Yes.
a word. And then because when you have a positive word, when something is out there that's negative, you can change it.
Mm-hmm.
Because a word is energy.
Yes.
It carries a vibration.
Right.
Just like a color. Another thing you could do, pick the colors you like to wear. This is purple, you can't tell. It's one of my it kind of looks black, but it really is actually purple.
Yeah. Eggplant.
Yeah, it's funny because on StreamYard, the lighting is weird here for me on my computer. I don't know why. But anyway, so you go in your closet, you think, oh, I'm feeling in a blue mood. I'm feeling a little blue. Well, go out there and pick something that'll pick you up. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a concept that everything in the universe is created twice.
Huh.
And the first time it's created, it's in the imagination.
Yep.
It's in a thought. Okay. The second time it's created is when there's motion brought to the thought. So there's the second creation. So the second way it's being created allows for the manifestation to take place.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have the thought, I want to change, I want to become more spiritually connected, I want to see what this is all about, I don't want to be frightened by this. And then you take the step of spending the 5 minutes or of tapping or of, picking the right color. Know that you're being supported with those decisions by bringing that into your world. And, there's an awful lot that we can say is, not okay right now. But there's so much more that is right, that is
Mhm.
exciting, that is fun, and the potential for new ideas and new resolutions and new solutions is being presented every day. So that whole thing about switching the dialogue, switching the energy
Yeah.
from, ooh, that was sounding sort of awful, to what would I do to make that 100% better? What would it take in the energy of the world to
Mhm.
have that reversed, or have that made soft, or have that made better for everybody? Because
Mhm.
when the solution is the solution that's good, and that it's good for everyone, not
Mhm.
just for one, but for everyone, that's when they become magical and uplifting, and
Mhm.
we'll get through. It's an uncomfortable time to be here.
Yep.
I am so grateful for everybody that said yes to being on the planet at this time,
Uh-huh.
because it takes all of us, all of our hearts, all of our energy, all of the love that we have for each other, for the planet, for the universe, to be able to do the things that humanity needs, not just us.
Right, right.
Well, we benefit too, but us.
But it does have to start with us, right? It starts with us.
Yes, it
Because
does.
we demonstrate, and then we connect. Our lights connect to the other lights. So,
Yes,
um, yeah, but intention, right? Intention to do that. Intention to change how it feels, because you can only do it with on purpose. Really, you have to do it in purpose, because otherwise, if we live out in the 3D, we're gonna be
yeah,
sinking.
yeah. It's gonna not be
We
pretty.
cannot live in that. Right, right.
Yeah, yes, that can be pretty. But we do have each other. And I'm so grateful for that, that we have this community of people that understand and that are willing to explore and have the experience that, is so beautiful when we share it together.
Hmm.
There is something so powerful about um, exploring the idea of, when I'm with you,
Yeah.
there's nothing else in the world like it.
Right,
Our
right.
our energy together produces something explosive, something dynamic, something incredible that can't really be expressed. It can only be felt by spirit, can only be felt by the universe, can be seen and enjoyed by anyone that's paying attention to, what's happening. What is this? What is this? This energy,
Hmm.
incredible electric thing that happens.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's where I think the spirit part of us comes together and says, "I know you. I recognize you. I love you."
Right, right. Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely,
Our soul to soul remembrance of each other. Yes. Also, I have to say that the spirit people. I don't care whether you're talking about your grandmas, your uncles, friends, whatever, the star beings, the angels, whatever spirit people we want to talk about. They are all supporting us now.
absolutely,
And they want to see us happy, and they never see, no matter how frail or horrible we think we are, what we could have done something better, they don't see that.
right.
They
That's
see us as perfect,
yeah,
just as we are. If we can
absolutely,
see that too,
yeah.
what
For
a better.
for each other as
Yeah,
well as for ourselves, right?
yeah, yeah.
Maybe take off some of the preconceived ideas, or the, oh, it can only be good if this happens, or, well, what if
Yes.
that happens? And it's pretty interesting because normally I write the meditation that invites us to come together for the second half of the show. And I know that I messed up a little bit on the timing for Kim tonight, so I'm not sure if you'll be able to stay or not stay, but for the meditation. But the message that I kept hearing was, um, let go of the outcome.
Hmm.
Trust that whatever comes out of it is what is meant to be.
Hmm.
Don't, be allowing of circumstances. Be open and trusting that
Hmm.
there are many solutions, that there are many different outcomes, and that just because it didn't turn out the way you thought it should, in order to be validated, or in order to be, in order for it to be the solution that you wanted or that I wanted, um, that's not the end of the story.
Right.
That's not the end. That's not the end. There's more to come.
Yeah.
And as long as we have that intention of every morning starting out the day with, how am I going to make today good? How am I going to make today even better than yesterday? And what kind of magic is going to be placed in front of me? And who's going to feel that smile that needed it? Who needed to be joined in and laughed like the folks at the UPS store today, because that was just really fun. Just talking with them, just hanging out with them. They're talking about shorts tomorrow. It was cold here. So talking about putting on shorts is pretty exciting.
Oh
You
my
know,
God. It's
yeah.
opposite here. We're going to get cold tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. Well, he's talking about 60 degrees. So it's not hot. It's just,
Yeah.
I'm going to put on shorts because it's going to be 60 and not 30, so it was
Uh-huh.
very cute. It was very, very cute. It was very uplifting and silly and fun. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So
But
this is, sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
that's okay.
Do you have any questions about the alchemy of light or
No, I
about,
love that you're doing this though.
oh, thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Thank you.
it really is. What
Awesome.
a great idea. What a great, great idea.
I think that when we share how to do it or what to do or why, that we enable each other, that we empower each other with ideas, with thoughts, with support in ways that maybe we didn't know we could. And so just by saying, choose joy in everything, choose that upper vibration, choose allowance and acceptance and compassion
Hmm.
in all of those ways that you can, whenever you can, to shift the energy that's on the planet. And of course we have to be, we have to know what's going on, but it doesn't mean that it can always bring us down. It doesn't need to always knock us over and have us gasping for air. Like, are you kidding me? There, there are days where I want the cartoon strip to be done. Close that comic book and say, okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, what we can do is come together and share our love. So at this point, I would be doing the meditation.
Okay.
And if you need to go, I totally understand. If you want to stay, that's okay too. Whatever you're comfortable with, Kim. I just am so grateful you're here. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
aw, thank you, thank you. I might stay for a few minutes. I wanted to slip out if I can, because I don't know why I was thinking we were doing this like 4 hours earlier.
Yeah,
It's like,
I always get messed up on the time. So
okay, it's good. No,
yeah,
thank you so much. Okay, thank you, and thank you to everybody who's been here and who's watched and
yep,
who has brought in their light here too,
yes,
that we share together.
yep.
Because it is true, right? The energy, we feel it.
You can feel it.
And
It's
and
so good.
even this moment is going to live forever. It's going to live forever.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so good.
We're going to find it in the stars somewhere. I don't know. I don't know if you can hear my dog barking, but oh my gosh, I'm so sorry
Yeah,
about that.
that's okay. That's okay.
Okay, thank you.
That's it about me. Thank you. Okay, honey. Okay, so as we get ready to do our meditation, once again, I want everyone to know that normally I write them out, and today I did not write them out. Write it out. So know that this is completely spirit driven, and that there is someone who needs to hear the words to be uplifted, hear the words to know that you are loved, hear the words to bring you gentle peace from within. So we begin by asking Source, guides and angels, and all loved ones through all lifetimes to join us in this spiritual exploration, to form a protective filter that only allows the highest form of loving energy to be with all of us. With grace and gratitude, we acknowledge the gifts of love, both seen and unseen, that we have been given and are still being given right now. And so it is. Let's start the meditation. So find a comfortable position, one where you are relaxed, hopefully sitting in a comfortable chair. Or if you are driving, come back to the video and pick it up from there. And we want to take a couple of deep breaths. Slow breaths. A slow breath in to breathe in, calm. And exhale any sort of tension. And breathe in peace. And let go of any doubt. And breathe in the sweetest, tenderest love. And let that energy of love surround you. Create a bubble. Create a shield. And as we come together in a circle so we can see each other, acknowledge each other, notice that we're here at this moment together. Because our energies create the most incredible flow to each other, to the earth, to the sky, and on to the universe. And as you are comfortably sitting in the bubble of love, let go of anything in your day, in your thoughts, in your plans, in your creative endeavors, where you have designed an outcome that only has one solution. Invite all the other solutions to come and sparkle around you. Notice how they sparkle. Notice how they circle and wind and dance and change color. Solutions to your heart's desires. Solutions for the puzzles that need your attention, that will one day just be a memory. Notice how many solutions are waiting for you to make real. Trust that the universe knows. Trust that Source has the most incredible answers for you. Everything is possible. Everything is obtainable. Everything can be made real. And so, as all this creative energy is flowing around us, let's allow that creative energy to be blessed by the energy of our hearts. And see that green, golden, sparkling energy coming from within your heart. Blessing all the energies that it touches. Blessing each other. And so we send each other the light of love. Allow yourself to feel all the different swirls of color, all the different forms of love that are available to you. Allowing you to be free, no longer stuck in only one solution. Open to the creativity of Source. Open to the wisdom of the universe. And as that loving energy grows and becomes warmer and brighter, we come together and send it out into the universe, up into the cosmos, like a ribbon of stars. Beautiful, floating, everlasting. The love we give away is forever. And so our combined energy of being together today, tonight, and whenever you're listening to this, know that that energy will join the collective light energy of love, providing healing and compassion, joy, peace, and always following peace is beautiful hope. Peace is only coming when it's quiet, and hope when there is peace. Remember that all of these things are there for your asking. There is no fear in love. There is no doubt in love. The pure energy of love sustains us, gives us all the answers. And all we have to do is ask. Ask for the answers. Ask for the love. Ask for the transformation from the wisdom of the universe. Take a few more moments to enjoy this incredible energy. You are so magnificent. You are magical beyond anything you could ever dream of. You are more powerful than anything on the planet because you are forever. You are beloved from Source. You matter. You're important. And I am so grateful for you. Thank you for being here, for allowing your energy and love to flow. Thank you for understanding that as we give out, so shall we receive. And the giving for all is the highest of gifts we can send and receive. And so take with you a sense of confidence, a sense of courage that all is well. Even if your mind is telling you it's not. Listen to your heart, where love resides, where the answers are, and you will know. So take another few breaths in, breathing in hope and exhaling fear, breathing in joy and letting go of worry, and breathing in love. And so it is. Thank you. And this ends the meditation. So I see that we have lost Kim, and that's okay because, like I said, I had California time. What can I say? Yes. So I want to thank you guys for being here, everybody in the chat. My gosh, such a beautiful chat happening that I am going to have to go back and take a look at and enjoy it all over again. So I would love to be able to say hello to everyone. You guys are fantastic. Every time I think that, oh my gosh, I don't know, I'm too nervous. I remember how wonderful it is to be with you. So thank you. And let's see, just up for a heads up to next week, I think we are having a dream show. So if you want to join us for the dream show, that would, be lovely. There's some exciting things happening in the dream show that I would love to share. Also, as a quick announcement, I just wanted to let everyone know that I'm going to be putting the meditations up separately from the the actual shows that they show up in. I know this is going to sound a little quirky, but that's me. I'm also doing bedtime stories for children. And the most recent one we're going to be putting up fairly soon. So it's called Gossamer in Almajara, and it's about a white, fluffy cloud. And it makes me smile every time I think about, doing bedtime stories. I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to be a grandmother or something. Do you guys know of any kids that need, No, I'm kidding. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Thank you. I love you guys. Know how important you are because you're amazing. Till next time, sweet dreams.